guys, and welcome to Bilborough College News, which goes out on Friday mornings, period 1. This week we're meeting the local citizens, college students, teachers and the student exec team. We're going to ask some questions on how they feel about the environment and how they're going to improve it in the future. What's your opinions about the flooding?
I don't think it's too good. I think we could do with more like barriers and I don't think we should build on floodplains. I don't think it's a great idea, to be honest. It tends to flood a lot. It doesn't exist.
How has this impacted you personally?
I don't live on a floodplain personally, so I'm fine. But it made getting places quite difficult.
My house flooded, all of it.
What do you do to help the environment?
Well, I catch a lot of planes, drive my car a lot. I do lots.
Nothing. I litter more. The environment doesn't really exist. Let's be real. The grass was always here. It's always green on the sides. There's always lawns everywhere that are always green, right? We're making it better. We've got the plants, In fact, we're making the biggest difference because we're here. The apex predator, the highest IQ. Without us, everything would have gone extinct. Look at the cows, look at the cattle, all dead. Look at the life ages of sheep.
What are you going to do to help the environment in the future?
I don't know, really. Try to do less online shopping and stuff, because carbon emissions and shit from boats. Sorry, should I swear? And then I guess try to walk more places, but it's a bit difficult for me to do because I'm a bit crippled, but it's okay.
More private jets, definitely. Might just start pouring petrol everywhere.
Being existing, I'm already helping it, My general existence is helping this because I bring I bring in, a calmness for animals. You know how rabbits destroy lawns and create holes and are just ugly? I'm scaring them away. I'm saving this world.
Are you worried about the future of the next generation?
Yeah. I think we could do with less of the next generation, to be honest. I think we need to slim down on the population, but there's no moral way to really do that, so I guess we just suffer.
Well, there's quite a lot of people these days who are trying to help the environment, and I feel like they're just making it all worse, They're making it terrible.
No, because there's going to be no next generation. It ends with me.
It's definitely worse than in previous years, which is kind of what we'd expect with the climate change that's predicted.
I think in terms of the flooding that's happening, I think it's overlooked how big of an impact it actually is having on the environment. I go over Trent Bridge most days and it's we're looking at the broken banks and that. And it's oh well, that's actually affecting the geese. I know that's so stupid, but it's affecting the world.
I think with the flooding, I think it's taken a lot more as a joke than what it needs to be. I think it needs to be taken a lot more seriously than I know with the most recent flood what happened to us. We were evacuated from college and it came up as this massive thing on TikTok of people's buses flooding, but I feel it needs to be taken more seriously.
The village I live in has been cut off a few times because the roads are flooded, so it's added hours onto travelling time and things like that, but not directly, no. Not.
Well, yeah, there was the day that we were evacuated from college early, which meant we were in a workshop that day, so we had to finish doing the workshop early. And then it's just silly things it's not as bad in Nottingham City Centre, but when you go to the suburbs, I live in the suburbs, I said, with the River Trent and stuff, it means you can't go for walks. It's just silly stuff not being able to go for a walk and stuff, or not being able to the bus is wet all the time, and that's just grim. Yeah, it's just nasty.
Yeah, probably other than the day that we're evacuated from college, it hasn't really affected me because I live on the hill side of Nottingham, but it's affected many people who I know
personally.
What do you do to help the environment?
I try and use very little energy at home, so efficiency. I've got a really small car, all those sort of things. Yeah, so I try and be really efficient. Eat less meat is a major one. So I'm not vegetarian, but I just eat less meat. But I still do travel quite a lot. It's part of my job.
That's really good. You know what is actually quite a big thing that I've been seeing about stuff like makeup and things like that. So I've always been quite heavily like, I want to use all cruelty-free stuff, and I'd like to know the products that I'm using, whether it's like makeup or like food in terms of being fair trade, all of that. I'd like to know that it isn't having a bad environmental impact, and I think I should be more conscious, spend more time looking into that and making sure that I'm using the best stuff, not for me, but for the world.
It's one of those problems that's been pushed down the line. And if you look at the latest IPCC climate change reports, you can see that people who are born since 1990, really, it's very likely to shorten their life as it stands. So we kind of have to, it's a major problem for your generation and also for children in the future. So yeah, it's kind of now or never is what the evidence says and what the science says. But it's quite easy to solve in a way. If people want to, we can do it. We've done much bigger things. COVID's a good example, isn't it? In an emergency, you can do things that are unimaginable, like the state paying everyone's wages and closing everything down. And so if we treat it as much of an emergency as that, people like Greta Thunberg say, treat it like your house is on fire, because it is what she said. That kind of, if people sort of get to the stage that it is life or death crisis soon, I think we might get more action.
Yeah, I'd say I'm really worried because it's like we don't know how much of an impact was really left on us and future generations by older generations. So it's kind of like we can do all that we can, but that might not even be enough, and that's just like a worrying thing.
Too much rubbish is being produced, which we don't need. Seriously, don't need. And I think everybody should respect the environment you live in and be as green as possible for future generations, not for my generation so much, but for yours, any age group, you guys onwards. I'm just going to carry on the way I am, litter picking. Even when I'm out this morning at 5 o'clock, took my dog for a walk. I've got a spare bag to pick rubbish up that people are throwing on the floor, beer cans and stuff. Always on top of it. Some people are so naughty, they just chuck it on the floor, and that's not fair. Definitely. Oh, definitely. With the greenhouse effect and everything else, this world I don't think, will exist if we carry on the way we are. Chewing gum is my main hate, and plastic and baker foil. Loads of students bring their sandwiches in plastic bags or baker foil and then chuck it on the floor. Why not put it in a bin? Yeah? We've got to put it in the bin, so why not put it in the bin in the first place? Or don't bring it to college. Try and be more green. Plastic bags now, they're making biodegradable plastic bags. Try and use them instead of this stuff that takes years and years to rot away. Yeah, so I'm really, really worried for younger generations.